he clears away all the cobwebs your Marxist professors wickedly weaved in your skull, and then replaces them with clean, crisp common sense. And now, our fearless host, Brock Lawley.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brock Lawley. I am the Atheist Antidote on YouTube and elsewhere. Thank you for listening to my podcast. Here we explore everything under the sun. And sadly today, I have some more ornaments of leftist, secular, extremist hatred, anti-Christian bigotry to hang on the rotting and dying tree of liberty. I am sorry to do that. I am. I wish I could be all jokes, wisecracks, smiles. But unfortunately, what is emerging before our eyes is a very, very clear battle line, ladies and gentlemen. To be delusional is hurting us, greatly hurting us. You know, so many people I know just have no interest in the macro world, and part of me envies them. You know, they're raising children, or they're just not interested in that kind of thing, or their disposition isn't confrontational, or whatever the case may be. And I really don't aim to, lecture them, or I'm certainly not angry with them, but the time for that degree of complacency is just gone. It was gone 3 or 4 years ago. Now it's at, Mach 10 red levels. What we have is very, very powerful people driven by a very vicious ideology that is absolutely filled with hate for anybody who loves the family, God, traditional values of any kind, and specifically Christian morality and the Christian faith. They hate this in ways that my words will never be able to wrap around. And for so many people to be just complacent is dangerous. This cannot be anymore. We have got to be vigilant, and we have got to be active, and we have got to be vocal, and there's really no way around, so we've got to fight them. And it could very well be the case that very soon we have to literally fight them. That's how aggressive and hateful. I mean, listen, when Pot marched in to the villages and rounded people up, they should have fought him. When Stalin rounded up people and sent them to the gulags, they should have fought them. When the Jews were rounded up and turned into ashes, they should have fought. I mean, we've learned this time and time again. There's a time when this degree of bigotry and hatred has got to be confronted in a literal way. Now, you might be saying, what are you talking about, Brock? What are you talking about? You're blowing this way out of proportion. Am I? Every single day now, just in the last month. I don't even know if it's really been a month. There has been outrageous cases that scream out for good people to rally around justice, and yet we see nothing. From the Gosselin abortion case to the new ones popping up all over the place in the media. Now we have a kid, this one boiled my blood, we have a kid, his name's Cole. This just came to my attention. This kid was out shooting with his father. He's an Eagle Scout. I don't know how many people know what that is, but that's an extremely difficult accomplishment for a young man, and it points to a stellar individual in almost every way. Straight A student, never ever been in trouble. Your typical pillar of your community as a young man. He's out shooting with his father, ski, target. And he has a shotgun that he forgets is in the back of his truck. Now, when he arrives at school, he realizes it. He goes inside. He does the right thing. He calls. He says, listen, this was the situation. I forgot it. Calls his mother to come pick it up. They arrest him. Call the police. They arrest this young man. Now, you need to let that wash over you. This is getting out of hand, people. This worldview, this fierce, secular, extremist militancy is just running roughshod everywhere in our society. That's just one example. Now, to set some levity and some cheer into this murky, depressing podcast, the great thing is that Liberty, the president of Liberty, Falwell, he heard this. He was in some hotel room. He heard this. He ended up fulfilling the kid's dream and giving him a full scholarship to Liberty, which was his dream anyway, and Cole couldn't afford it, so it's a wonderful story. That doesn't nullify the leftist bigotry funded by your tax dollars and the propaganda turnstiles of public education. It goes on and on, ladies and gentlemen. The Remeke family, with this tyrannical administration, is being threatened with deportation because they homeschool. And because the president is trying to set legal precedent that you will not homeschool. Public schools are vital to leftist propaganda, and they are not about to let that go. So they will smear, and they will libel, and they will slander, and they will besmirch, and they will malign anybody who's homeschooling, anybody for any reason, but specifically, in the case of the Remeke family, if you're homeschooling for religious reasons. Bigotry, ladies and gentlemen. It's classic bigotry. And the way you know this, you leftists out there, is just replace evangelical Christianity with something else. Something where your PC sensibilities happen to care about. I know you're a bigot when it comes to evangelical Christianity. I know that, and you know that. Even if you don't admit it, you know it. But the way you know you're wrong is just replace it with something else, and then you'll clearly see that you're full of hate and bigotry. But again, just one case. There's a kid named Markham. I think it's Markham. I think it was like Jardo Markham or something like that. The kid gets suspended from school for wearing an NRA t-shirt. An NRA t-shirt that he gets for subscribing and supporting the NRA. This is a private funded organization. The only defense against this, as we sit in this country in present day, this tyrannical government, trampling on your Second Amendment rights, your God-given rights, the NRA, God bless the NRA. This kid wears an NRA t-shirt and he's suspended. Even when I went to high school, kids were wearing shirts with nude girls on them and all kinds of crap. I'm going to ask you a question. If Markham or whatever the kid's name is, if he wore a shirt in favor of any left-wing cause, you name it, you think he would have been suspended? Bigotry, ladies and gentlemen. Hatred for the conservative. And they're allowed to get away with it because of massive complacency, which we can afford no longer. It goes on and on. Stomp on Jesus with the professor. I'm telling you, these stories, they come out of the woodwork. And they pop up like dandelions because you, the people in this country, do nothing. Do nothing. The complacency, the nap time, it's over. These people need to be confronted. And if you want to avoid, which I certainly want to do, any kind of physical or militant confrontation, this needs to be dealt with right now in our civic opportunities. This needs to be dealt with right now in the court of public opinion. Push back on the bigots. Call them out every time you see them. Call them out. Shame them. Open your mouth. Call your senators. Shame your television. Get on Twitter. Shame every one of those networks. Shame the schools. Get involved in your school board. Run for public office. Shame them. They're bigots. They're bigots like every other bigot in the course of history. They're filled with the same kind of hate. They're motivated by the same kind of things. It makes no difference that they justify it or that they feel like they're doing something good. It makes no difference. Absolutely no difference. The time is now. And I'm sorry if you feel like, I'm some fire-breathing dragon, blowtorching this stuff. It needs to be done. Somebody needs to do this. It could be your kid. It could be your cousin. And I'm contending very quickly it will be. Thank you for listening to the Atheist Antidote Show.
You are listening to the Atheist Antidote Show.